I did it.
There it is.
I know, because you didn't like last time when I did not say that I did it.
I
know that was really hard for you.
It was really
it was really traumatic for you when I didn't say that I clickied.
That's like me counting down and doing a long clicky.
Yeah.
Just throws you off.
It does. I'm sorry that we messed with the process.
It's okay.
My brother was like, so how's that whole podcasting thing going? Because I texted him, I was like, I'm late because I'm recording, whatever. And he's like, how is that whole podcasting thing going? And I was like, well, we just recorded our 5-year anniversary thing. And he's like, oh, so it's going fine. It's like, yeah, it's going great. It's going great.
It's going great.
It's consistent, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're good at what we do.
We do. Okay.
All right. I'll give us 5 count and we'll go from there.
Okay.
If my eye can stop being blurry for a second, then I can
I still
read.
haven't found my good glasses. I've got like my backup, like previous ones, but they're not my bifocals.
Yeah, what happened?
I don't know, but I go next weekend, I think, to get another eye exam. So.
Oh, there you go.
Because the kids were complaining, so I called Dan and was like, put us on the schedule.
There you go. Get it done.
Get her done.
All right, here we go. Welcome to our first episode to release at the beginning of our 6th year, everybody. We are thrilled you are joining us here, and we hope you will give this one a listen to hear about how things are going in our lives, as well as more details on the Patreon drive that is happening right now.
This episode was originally featured on our Patreon feed and is part of our regular series of episodes called Character Creation Chit-Chat. To be clear, the Chit-Chat is hyphenated, so it is still technically one word and counts as C3.
Absolutely. So these are released every week on our Patreon for patrons at all levels, every single Thursday. In these chit-chats, Amelia and I just catch up about what is going on in our lives, which sometimes devolves into a special segment called Capitalism Complaint Corner.
Which is also C3. It
is also C3. We're on brand in all things here. It's a peek into our friendship behind the podcast, talking about things like Smokey the Bear, comfortable couches, peanut butter, pop culture, and attempting to solve life's great philosophical mysteries.
Which is what everybody wants in a tabletop RPG podcast.
Exactly.
No, we took the parts of the conversation that we were like having off mic, and we were just like, let's record it. And sometimes really fun discussions come out of it with our patrons over in our Discord too. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So you can find out all about some of the fun things that we're offering in general and especially over the next couple of months. But we do really need your help. We are currently $36 away from our first goal during this drive. If we hit that $100 goal, all of our backers at the $5 and up level will be getting custom dice, which as soon as we hit that level, we'll release pictures of them. And then obviously the dice will go out once the drive is over and we have them. But they look great. I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can sign up to be a patron at patreon.com/charactercreationcast.
Yep. We're going to be having so much more to offer throughout these months. So stay tuned here to hear about how things are going and any more details as we release them.
We have great things planned. We've got really exciting things at higher levels too.
I know. I'm so happy. Until then, enjoy this special bonus character creation chit-chat, everybody.
I did it.
Yeah, me too.
I clicked a button. You clicked a button too?
I did click a button too.
Ryan, we have so much in common.
We click buttons really well together.
It's so great. It's so great. Who would have known 5 years ago that would be so good at clicking buttons together?
I agree. I had a conversation last night about with my wife about how I've been feeling subconscious about my clickies lately.
Yeah, about how you're overthinking it.
How I'm overthinking it. This time I didn't overthink it. I said, you know what?
I'm just going to say the word clicky.
At best, it's like half a second off. And I can just boop, nudge one track over the slightest little bit, and it's fine. Why am I so worried about it when I can fix it in post?
I don't know. Why are any of us so worried about anything though, Ryan? Really?
It's true. But you know what? I decided to just throw caution to the wind. I clicked when I felt right to click, and I'm good to go.
All right.
I'm a new me today.
A new Ryan.
A new Ryan.
It's a new year, a new Ryan.
Yeah. It's a new day for me. And I'm feeling fine.
Good. I'm feeling.
You're recovering.
I'm feeling.
You're feeling. Feeling is better than not, and
it's true.
The fact
in
that
most cases, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, right now you are in the process of recovering. You've got basically a schedule interruption all week, being off all week, and then you have the kids. But at least you don't have the kids for spring break on top of working.
Right. So I guess for people playing along at home, those of you playing Character Creation Cast, the home game, I had an ECT treatment on March 17th, which is a Friday. That following week on the Thursday, which would have been then the 23rd, I had a visit with my therapist, and I was like, I don't know. I'm like, maybe kind of better, but like, I don't know. It's so hard to tell, which it really is. They're always like, okay, are you feeling better? And I'm always like, well, like, I mean, like, but like better and good aren't the same thing when you are like severely clinically depressed the way that I am. There's better, which is like, wow, I got up today and I put on socks and I didn't want to die. But that's not good. That's not like the baseline of good that most people are living at, right? And so it's been a constant challenge to figure out like what is good, what is I compared it to when I got medicated for ADHD, which I often see people compare to getting glasses for the first time, which is like, I thought I was seeing fine. And then you put the glasses on and you're like, oh, is this what the world looks like to everybody else? I didn't even know.
That's an interesting analogy. Because that was my experience back in middle school when I first got glasses. Like, oh, everything's like, blurry. That's just normal, right?
That's how, because you've never been anybody but yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And so I felt that way with my ADHD medication, because at one point they were like, okay, do you feel like this dose is good? And I was like, well, I feel better than I have ever felt in my life. But I also thought what I was feeling for the first 26 years of my life was normal.
Yep.
Like, I just assumed that everybody felt that way, that everybody got report cards home that said, could use more effort, whatever. Like, doesn't apply herself. And so then I got medication and it was like, oh.
Yeah.
Right. And so I've been struggling with my bipolar treatments to find that too, because after I got that first round of ECT, I was like, I feel better than I've ever felt in my life. I don't know if this is as high as it goes. Right. If this is, I don't know if Audacity's picking that up or not.
It probably is.
My dog, it probably is. My dog is scratching and shaking her collar and everything, but being surprisingly not barky.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, I was like, okay, I feel better than I've ever felt in my life, but I don't know if that's what other people feel or not. And kind of since then, I've sort of dropped back into these lows and been like, okay, well, I know that this isn't as good as I can feel. And after this most recent one, I was like, well, I think I'm kind of better, but I don't remember how long it took to feel better, because I just had the one in December, but it was like a week before Christmas. Yeah. So I'm like, life was chaos. I don't really know.
Chaos and stress.
There's chaos, there's stress, there's also lots of joy and fun things happening. And, so I'm like, I don't know that was a really great baseline level to judge anything against, right? Right? Like, it was like, do you feel as good as you felt on Christmas Day? Well, no.
On Christmas Day, I'm filled with Christmas spirit. What do you want?
Right. I don't. So,
do you have some of that weekend buddy me?
Yeah, I talked to my therapist and she was like, well, why don't you message your ECT psychiatrist and just see what he says. She's like, just ask. He might say like, yep, you need to give it another week to give it time to work. He might say, no, we should do something. Mm-hmm. So that was like last week, Thursday. Right? Yeah, last week, Thursday.
Yeah.
So then Friday afternoon at about 1:30, they call me and they're like, do you want to come in Monday or Wednesday? Oh. And I was like, for what? And they were like, for another treatment. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
I had already expected to be off Thursday and Friday this week because my kids are on spring break.
Yes.
They're at their dad's house the beginning of the week and my house the end of the week. And so I was like, well, they usually come home like Wednesday after school, but like midday when they don't have school. Right. So I was like, they'll come back midday. They can hang out for a couple hours and Thursday and Friday I'll be off.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, if I do the ECT on Monday, I don't have the kids Monday and Tuesday until like afternoon Wednesday. So I will have days to recover. Unlike last time where I had it on Friday and they came home a few hours later, right? Yeah. Where I got to like nap and then I had to like full-time parent because obviously they're also not in school. So like they're home all day. So like Friday afternoon, I'm quick scrambling to find a ride and to message my boss and be like, just kidding. Can I be off all week next week?
Yeah.
And, rearranging my work stuff, thinking like I was only going to, I had another like 4 days to get stuff done. I was like, just kidding. You now have 2 hours.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like bright and early 6:45 a.m. I showed up at the hospital. We did another treatment. I'm still recovering because it was only 2 days ago. We're recording this now on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Normally we do Tuesdays, but I was sleeping.
Yes.
I was doing a sleepy and not knowing what day it was or what time it was, or I was really confused by my phone all day yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Because I keep my phone in military time.
Oh.
My mom is a nurse and worked in a hospital when I was growing up. And so she always wrote her hours on the calendar in military time because she worked like second or third shift.
Okay.
And so that's just, it was always like, I work, I don't know, whatever it was, like 23 to 3 or 23 to 7 or whatever.
Yeah.
I like having my phone in the 24-hour time or whatever, but
sense.
I kept like looking at it yesterday and being like, 16. Like, what? Why is it 6 p.m.? And then being like, no, 16 is 4. Like, I, like all of a sudden my brain just like couldn't convert it, even though I've been doing that my whole life. I've always kept my phone in 24-hour time because I nap at weird times and my brain works weird. And like, I like 24-hour time. I just do.
Okay.
And also, as somebody who still works in the medical field, I just like it in 24-hour time. I just do.
Yeah.
It's fine. It works for me. You do you. It works for me. Except for yesterday, it didn't. I was like, oh my God, like, I don't know. Like I said, it was like 1900. I'm like, when did it get to be 9 p.m.? And I'm like, no, it's 7. It's still a perfectly reasonable time to eat dinner. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. I was doing a thing.
That's called recovery. It's fine.
And that, friends, is on having your brain electrocuted.
There's going to be side effects like that. It's fine.
It's still such a weird experience to me. It's such a weird. And I think especially for me because I am single, I live alone. I don't, I don't live with my family anymore. My family doesn't necessarily live like super close by. They're about 25 minutes away. But they also still work and, all that kind of stuff. So like they were not able to drive me on Monday. My ex-husband is off work on Mondays, so he drove me. But like when my mom comes, she comes back in like the little like prep room with me while they give me my IV and she hangs out and she's there when I wake up and all that kind of stuff. And Dan is not, which is fine. It's reasonable. He's my ex-husband. I don't, like he doesn't need to sit back in the room with me and everything, but it is very weird because he had the stomach flu.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's like, I'll still drive you. He's like, but I don't feel good. So he like stayed out in his car in the parking lot and slept while I was doing my chemically induced nap. And so like I woke up and they were like, okay, like, do you have somebody here to pick you up? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, okay, we can wait for him to come back. I was like, he's not going to come back. Like, he's not going to like, so I'm like groggy. I have this like ultrasound gel in my hair, like covering my whole head. I've got like my hospital bracelet on. I've got the bandages from where they did the IV because they like missed the first time. So they had to do it on both hands. And then I'm like walking out like groggy into the parking lot. Like, where's my, I gotta go. Like, where's my ride? I'm like in my, you know, like in my Snoopy sweatpants.
Oh, no.
Just the picture of beauty and grace. I'm like, I guess, oh, like it's just, you know, and like he's asking me questions. I'm like, yeah, so it's great. I don't know. But like waking up from anesthesia too is like not a nice experience. Like it's pretty frequent for people, pretty common for people to be like agitated when they first wake up from it too. And I remember the first treatment I had, like waking up just like sobbing, just being, and they were like, it's okay, like calm down, it's pretty normal. And I don't do that anymore. This was the 13th treatment. So I don't do that anymore, but I still wake up and I'm like vaguely sad. Yeah. Which is like also what the treatment is for. So then like there's like this panic of like, oh God, it didn't work. And then
did they even do anything? They just like, knocked me out and just said, you're good to go.
They knocked me out. They put a bunch of the like ultrasound gel in your hair.
Just mess up your hair a little bit.
Right. Just like do it. I mean, I did at one point tell my psychiatrist not to quit his day job. Yeah. To do hair. He was like, you don't like how I do your hair? And I was like, Dr. McMahon, I really don't. I think you should stick to your day job. And he was 100%. Like, I guess. And I was like, I'm sorry if I'm hurting your feelings. Yeah. But
that's his dream job come August.
His dream job, that exactly. Once he leaves in August, he says he's going to continue to be a psychiatrist, but I bet he's going to go be a hairdresser.
Well, I mean, what is a hairdresser but a psychiatrist with scissors?
That sounds terrifying when you say it that way. I'm also sure that in a lot of cases, my psychiatrists have taken away my scissors.
Well, nothing says that they can't have them. Tell me about your problems while I cut your hair.
Yep. But that's true. It's really about controlling who has the scissors, right? I'm sorry, dear listeners. That was a very dark joke. About how they would not let me have shoelaces when I was an inpatient.
It's all precautionary, right?
It is. But I'm going to be honest. I wish they would have let me keep my underwear.
Oh, boy.
They give you like the hospital underwear, which is just like this like mesh. Ugh. Like it's terrible. It's terrible.
That is terrible.
Yeah.
But you get the slippy socks. The grippy socks.
Do you get the grippy socks? I kept the grippy socks from my ECT too. I'm like, you know what? I'm paying enough money for this.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think I have like, because I don't always grab them. I think sometimes I forget.
Oh no.
But I mean, I probably have like 10 pairs now.
Yeah. I mean, that's good. That's a good rotation right there. It's a nice, like good 2-week rotation.
Yeah, a good like set of grippy socks.
Yeah. 4 more ECTs and you got a full 2 weeks.
Right.
Just new grippy socks every day. Well, I'm glad that it appears that you're feeling a bit better.
Yeah, definitely.
I know the days were rough. My offer always stands if you ever just need somebody around throughout the day, like on a Monday or whatever, let me know and I can drive down there without a problem. I can work from your living room if I need to.
I have to say that like it is one of the things that I think COVID has done for us as a society, has made it a little bit easier for people who are chronically ill in a lot of ways. Now, that's not to say like it's totally 100% safe for people with chronic illness to go out all the time now. Like, I know that that's a problem for a lot of people, but I think it definitely expanded services like grocery delivery. Like, I mean, like we had DoorDash and stuff before, but it is like significantly more available. The ability to like order on apps and things like that.
Oh,
like went through the roof with COVID. Exactly. And that has been so helpful for me. When I have these like one-off treatments, I can drive the next day. Yeah. So like that's fine. But like when I had the full course, I couldn't drive for 4 weeks.
No.
And so there was a lot of like, okay, well, let's get DoorDash because like I'm too tired to cook because I'm you know, groggy and out of it and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And, you know, I need my meds. I need my food. I need my, you know, so like being able to do that kind of stuff. And just mentally, because like I'm obviously not 100% between these treatments. Like That's why I keep having to get them because they kind of go down in between. I know for a lot of people with executive function issues, and like for me with my ADHD and with my pretty significant sensory issues, the grocery store is like
just a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It is the worst place for me.
Yeah.
When I got married, I was like, I will do all the laundry in this house forever, like start to finish, fold it, put it away, everything. I will not do the grocery shopping. I will not do it.
No, that's a good hard line. But
that's
the fact that almost every single grocery store now allows for curbside pickup.
Yes.
Even if it costs us a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, and like in my case, like because I use Pick and Save here, it doesn't cost anymore. Like it's a service that they have available. I can pick up time. Usually, if I order stuff in the morning, nice. I can get it by the evening, if not like the next day.
Yeah, because I know Woodman's does it as well. But all the prices of almost every item in their store on the app is increased to offset the price of picking it up for some reason.
Oh, that's really... I also know that like Woodman's at least used to have really like limited spots for picking stuff up. Because that's where my family used to grocery shop. Yeah. And I think, part of that was probably COVID, but I remember having like this full-on panic attack when it was my turn to do the grocery shopping for my family because there weren't any pickup spots open.
Oh, yeah.
And I had to like go walk through the store and grocery shop for 7 people. And I was like, it was like, peak pandemic. And like the line was like, you waited in line with your cart for like an hour. And it was like terrible. My headphones died and it was bad.
Oh, no. Just a nightmare scenario for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So now,
that sucks.
We keep up with it pretty well. I grocery shop every like 2 weeks or so.
I mean, even if you don't need a ride anywhere, if you just want company, just let me know.
Yeah.
Even if you just want to like hop on a Zoom chat and just chat for a bit for whatever, I'm always here for you.
Yeah. Usually the day of, like, all I do is sleep. Like I just go to sleep and then I wake up and then I feel guilty because I didn't take my dog out very much.
Oh, yeah.
Like she spent the day kind of in her, and I'm like, I'm sorry, dude, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
She's being surprisingly, like, she's in here right now.
I know.
Like
surprisingly good.
With her beach ball.
Which
I put in the wash yesterday, so it's very soft and she likes it now. Oh, there she is.
There she is.
She popped up. I don't know. So that's all of that. All of that to say, Ryan.
Yes.
We have reached our 5-year anniversary.
We have reached our 5-year anniversary. That is coming up on Sunday.
We really, really, really wanted to like put out something cool for our 5-year anniversary.
We did.
And then my brain was like...
Honestly, mine too. This last weekend, like Sunday, I was so tired. I think I even commented at one point of how tired I was.
You've had like sick kids. Like I mean, like Quinn was sick.
Yeah, he's just getting over strep A.
Yeah. So it's like neither of us have had an easy time of it. And I know like we were really excited to be like, it's 5 years. 5 years is a big milestone.
Yeah.
Like we've done so much. It's been so exciting. I know I was supposed to put the newsletter out this week, but obviously I was under anesthesia on Monday. So I'm not really doing that, you know?
No
and pre-anesthesia obviously was sick enough to need the treatment. Like that's
exactly.
I have a hard time with that part in my brain too, of being like, well, you had the whole weekend before. And it was like, well, no, you were sick.
Yeah.
Which is why you were going to get, like, if you're sick enough that you have to go get a treatment where they electrocute your brain, it's probably okay to, like, not be totally caught up on everything.
Exactly.
So, dear listeners, as we record this, I'm hoping to get it out this afternoon, so you'll probably see the newsletter before you hear any of this. But, sorry it's late.
Yeah.
I'll put a little note in the email when I send it out, too, and be like, oops.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's fine. I don't even think it's an oops. It's just hey, we've been dealing with stuff. It's a few days late. Who cares?
Yeah. I definitely like wanted to have it like prepped and scheduled. Like my hope was to have it scheduled and stuff. And then like I woke up this morning and was like, oh, it's Wednesday, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's still coming out in March. So
it is. It's true. It's true.
We still have 2 days technically. Right. So it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are very close to that 5-year mark.
I can't believe it.
I ran the stats and like, goodness gracious, we put out a lot of content.
We have. Yeah, like those numbers, like when you put it into like how many days of recordings it's been, I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah,
wow.
If you listen back to back, it takes almost 2 weeks to listen to the whole podcast at 1x speed.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
That's so much content.
It is a lot of content, but it's 5 years, right? And
well, it is. It is. And we've been really consistent. You know, like when the pandemic started, we obviously started taking that week off, which I continue to say, and my gosh, I really do mean it, that I would like to get back to our evolution cast at some point. Maybe someday when we're not regularly electrocuting my brain. Stupid physical human bodies and health.
Seriously.
Like, I just am not a fan of it. I don't, like, why do we still have physical forms at this point?
Yeah, we haven't learned how to ascend yet.
I just think it's really not fair.
That whole consciousness, really like trapped inside her.
It's garbage.
Yeah.
It's garbage. I feel like my body is betraying me. I'm like, I am amazing. Why am I stuck in this hunk of junk? You know? It's,
Even stuck in the hunk of junk that our bodies are, you're still amazing. So
thank you.
Just keep that in mind.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, we are crushing it, honestly.
We're doing great.
I look back at like what we have done the last 5 years and like at the person that I was when we started doing this.
Yeah.
Nate said earlier when I was telling him, I was like, oh, we're getting ready for our 5-year anniversary. He's like, wow, you are still back at Cracker and Aid's house recording stuff, which I'm sure I've talked about before. Is what my children refer to my parents as Cracker and Aid. It's short for Graham Cracker and Kool-Aid. Because we can't just have normal, because they're the Antrums. They can't have normal grandparent names. But I do want you all to just imagine the wonderful visual that is my 2 small, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, very white children following my mom, also a very white lady, around a grocery store yelling, Cracker! It's great. It's great. I freaking love it. But anyway, so Nate's like, yeah, we were living at Cracker and Aid's. And I was like, no, buddy, this was before we moved in with them. Like, this is back when we were, and he's like, when you were in the closet. And I was like, well, the recording closet. I was out of the closet. But the recording closet. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
It was a literal closet.
It was a literal closet. You were in a literal sauna and I was in a literal closet. My, how far we've come.
I know. Started off with our giant baby Yetis. And now we've got these like fancy dynamic mics and we're really crushing this whole podcasting thing lately.
I know.
So yeah, we were both not in our best form this last Sunday when we tried to record the series for this next month, but I think
we'll fix it.
We'll fix it.
We'll figure it out.
I have every confidence in us.
I think like we knew what we wanted to do. I think we just both kind of underestimated like the difficulty of not being in person to do it.
Yes.
A little bit because it was something that we've only done in person before. And the fact that like, you know, like I said, like it was right before ECT for me. So I was kind of scrambling to do that. You had sick kids. Like we were just not on it. So I think like we're going to try again.
Yeah.
Which maybe this is the point to say to everybody. Like, I think next month's series is going to be a week later. So instead of being the weeks 1, 2, and 3 of the month, it'll be 2, 3, and 4. Because of those health issues and things like that. I'm really excited about what we have. Yeah. Because I think it's really cool. I think like I love the concept. We've done it before. It was great. We just have to like perfect it. And
we got to refine it. Yeah.
We didn't like what we came with. And this is like the first time I think that we've ever like scrapped something.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be something that will like tidy up and release later just because it's, you know, part of the process. I don't know if it'll be a Patreon only thing. I don't know if it'll just entirely be on the cutting room floor. I haven't listened back to it.
I just know that like as we were making it, we were both kind of like,
there's something missing.
This isn't what we want it to be.
Yeah,
like it's not. You know, like we know what we want, and this isn't.
This isn't.
You know, we're visualizing it, and this isn't like what I'm physically able to draw. Is not the thing that's in my head.
Yeah. So I think Amelia, you and I will have to like brainstorm together before we actually do our recording for the next one. And just get our ducks in a row, right?
Yeah.
When we put our heads together, great things happen. So I think just putting our heads together on this when we're both not feeling pure exhaustion.
Right. Right.
That's the key, right?
Yeah. When I am not like legally considered what's the word for it? Like
impaired.
Yeah. Cognitively impaired.
Yes.
Because we're like trying to put it together. And like I know you were messaging me yesterday and I was like, that's so many paragraphs.
That's
Ryan.
so much. That's so much.
I am looking at my screen and that's so many letters.
Right.
And I don't want to.
And I didn't expect you to look it over. Honestly, I was just like, here's all this stuff. Blah.
I know. Which, to be totally fair, like I do to you all the time. I do to you all the time because because of my ADHD, I'm like, I have to say it now while I'm thinking of it.
Yep.
And that's the beauty of like doing a lot of this stuff over Discord too, is that we're able to just kind of put it in there and the person can get to it when they get to it.
Yeah.
But I was like looking at it and I think like I read the first paragraph like 3 or 4 times and I was like, I still don't know what this says. So
exactly.
This is a problem for later, Amelia.
Exactly.
When she's not like,
Well, while you were getting, the treatment on Monday and then beginning your recovery process, I was hyper focusing on something. I threw this thing. I've got this stack of books.
I know.
That's like
a couple stacks here too.
18 to 20 inches tall on my side table here right now. And I was just going through and putting something together for like what we were doing. And I was like, I want to try to organize this and blah, blah, blah. So once things have settled down, we'll go through whatever we both have and whatever ideas we want and how it'll stick and everything. But I tried some test runs of it and it was really fun.
Okay.
I did like 4 test runs of it. It was so fast comparatively.
Yeah.
And like I could understand a lot more of what I was getting the results of it.
Cool.
So
yeah, I mean, I definitely think, like I said, like we were onto something and we've done it before, so we know it can be done. It just wasn't doing what we wanted it to do. It wasn't sounding the way we wanted it to. It wasn't the content that we've prided ourselves on bringing.
Exactly.
And so I think, especially when you throw in the fact that you had, a sick kid with like 105-degree fever for like 3 or 4 days. Like he was very, very sick.
Yeah.
And the fact that, I did ECT and then we tried to record like right after I'd had ECT. And then I was like, JK, LOL, more ECT.
Yeah.
Like,
because usually it's like 2 weeks between your sessions before we even think about recording much more.
Well, yeah, I mean, so in the past, it was like we did it over the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think maybe I was all the way done with treatment by the time we did one, or it was like toward the end, and I was like more used to it or something.
Yeah, I think
maybe.
it was towards the end, and you were more used to it.
Because that one, it was a run of like 10.
Yeah.
And then when we did stuff in December, I only had the one treatment, and it was on a Friday. I went back to work the following Monday. Same with this past one on the 17th. It was like I went back to work the following Monday.
Yeah.
But because it's 2 in a row, it just like knocks me out a little bit more. And, it's like I wasn't really all the way fully recovered from the first one. Like it just, I don't know, especially because it's that anniversary episode.
Yeah.
We want it to be good. Like it just, not that all of our episodes don't matter, but like this one matters more. This one's our special baby.
It does have a little extra gravitas to it. And like it's April. Normally we throw out a goofy, like, haha, we're covering Garbage Game with Jeff and John, quote unquote garbage game. I know that
to be fair, we did try, but they were busy.
We really did try. Soon though, we will reap the benefits of me shouting, "Oh, I have it!" And I'm really excited. I know. I'm really excited
Jeff
for
and
that.
John series.
I'm really excited for our next Jeff and John series. But the stars did not align for them for April, and that's okay. And
It's fine.
it's our 5-year celebration. We're doing a Patreon drive.
I think that's the other reason too, that I'm like, I want to get it right.
Yeah. So I don't want to release things that are subpar to what we want, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't. And it's very weird because I feel like in 5 years, there have been ones that I'm like more excited about than others. We've talked about that. They're like definitely just games that were more my jam, or weeks that I was like, not as charismatic or something, because we all have life, I mean, I'm sure our listeners have noticed that like over the course of this show, I have been hospitalized. I've gotten a divorce. I've, like there are certainly episodes where I am more into it than others, right? But we've never really had something where we like finish it and we were like, I don't know if I'm proud of this.
Right.
And that's kind of where this landed. It's just that like, this doesn't meet the standard that I wanted to meet. Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. It's usable. And we, may release it as bonus content or something later. But it just did not jive. It wasn't what we wanted it to be.
Right.
And we want more. So we're going to do it.
Yeah.
We're going to do it.
We're going to do it. We'll fix it. We'll make it better. And I think we'll have to find time to just chat about it. And figure out what we need to do to fix everything, and then find a time to record it and be good to go. So
I want to talk a little bit about, while we're on this chit chat.
Yeah.
Do you still have time?
I do still have time. Yes.
Okay. About our Patreon drive. We mentioned it a little bit in our stuff. And I know it feels a little weird to like mention it here in something that's like Patreon only, I guess.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe this could be a special bonus one that goes on our regular feed so people can see what they're missing.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind making this public.
Yeah,
and just letting everybody hear what's been going on in our lives, what's going on based on, Yeah,
I mean, it might be worthwhile to like explain why our episode is late, honestly.
Yeah.
But our Patreon drive, so it's been 5 years. Hey, folks, did you know it's been 5 years?
It's been 5 years.
Oh my God, my brain is so disorganized. Ryan, 5 years.
5 years. The wood anniversary.
The wood anniversary. Yeah. Wood. See, now you're laughing too. So we have decided, because we started our Patreon last year, right after our 4-year anniversary. So we've been at it for a year. Our original goal was $100 a month because that would help us meet our break even. We'd be in the black for things like our website hosting, our Zoom account, our Dropbox account where we save all our, where everybody uploads their files, like all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And that was, it'd be nice to not like spend money making a podcast, exactly. A thing we love. But we also would love to be able to make slightly more than that so that we can do additional content. We've talked about like character art. We would really love to be able to pay our guests because I think that's a thing, like you can't eat exposure, right?
Exactly.
Like pay people for exposure. And I certainly think there are instances where like that's totally cool that we are paying people in exposure. In a lot of cases, people come on our show because they have a Patreon coming up and they want to get the word out. And so it is beneficial for everybody. That's awesome. But there are times where we just ask people like out of the goodness of your heart, can you please come on and talk about a thing?
Yeah, no expectations. And we've only gotten like a couple no's over the last 5 years.
No,
like very few people have said no, and it's almost always been I'm sorry, I'm too busy.
Right. Yeah, I just can't make time for that.
Yeah.
And that's a thing I know I've talked about on here. I've talked about other places before, and I often tell people when they ask me for like advice about starting a podcast is just ask. Yeah. Just ask people, because I'm like, you can send an email and the worst that will happen is somebody will say no. Yeah. And you are right where you started.
Yep.
Do I get that it's not always that easy? Absolutely. Do I have a thing called rejection sensitive dysphoria? Oh yeah. Yeah, I do. So like I fully recognize that there are times where somebody saying no isn't just right back where you started, that it does make you feel bad. But we have had so many people say yes that I never thought would say yes. And people that have now become friends that like I never would have seen myself being friends. Like, I'm like, they're too cool for me.
I know.
You know? I mean, and now we're like at a point where like there's these game designers. Oh, sorry, I'm playing with some magnets because I'm fidgety. There are these game designers that I really, really respect that now reach out to us and say, hey, I have a new game coming out.
Yeah.
Can I come be on your show?
That's so cool.
And it's like, it feels so good. It feels so good. And we are just two people who on Twitter were like, LOL, what a funny idea. Why does nobody make a podcast about that? We should do it, you know? And here we are 5 years into it.
I know.
Having put out thousands of hours of content.
Yeah. So like the stats were staggering.
They were.
Honestly, like
they were.
If you don't check out the newsletter, you can get them right here because I'm about to read them off. We covered 81 games in this last 5 years, 95 guests, 95 unique guests across all the series and whatnot. And honestly, more than that, I forgot to count the Evolution Cast episodes.
Ryan.
I will have to go back and fix that.
Please go back and fix those numbers.
I will fix those numbers. More than 95 guests.
So over 100.
Over 100 guests. We created 225 characters altogether.
Wow.
And 17,447 minutes of content. It's so much.
That's so much.
We have done a lot. I'm extraordinarily proud of what we've accomplished.
And, you know, like we've had some like big life stuff happen for us. We've both grown as like people, as, I don't know, gamers, I guess. Yep. Like, you know, like, I mean, like you've put out several games. I was an Ennies judge.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, just stuff that I never would have fathomed.
I'm embracing like flawed characters.
Whoa, Ryan. Oh my
The Dirt Stranglethorn broke me a bit. And
it did, and that was only like Series 8.
That was, Series 7 or 8. And like, my goodness, ever since then, I'm like, yeah, give me more. Yeah. I am less adverse to inter-party conflict now.
Yeah.
Like if we did the 8 Kinds of Fun episode,
I feel like your answers would be different.
They would be a bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm craving that like intense role-playing experience. I just played Star-Crossed with my wife. This was her first time playing an actual RPG with intention. She did technically play Descent into Midnight as her first ever RPG at a Catacon one year, but she was just so over her head that it was she barely. She was
like mostly taking it all in.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the first one with intention, and it took a few days. The tower had to stay up a few days, but you know we have kids and we only have so much time. And we wanted to do it right. And it was fantastic. Like, this was my first time playing Star-Crossed.
Yeah. And,
like, it reinforced everything I love about role-playing games. So much. And reinforced why I love that game so much. Like, the theory of how the game played in my brain worked better in practice.
Yeah. It's such a good game.
It is so good.
It's such a good game.
And we got to experience things like playing Broken together, you and I.
Yeah.
And what an intense game that was.
Oh, man. I still have like my notes from when I was like reviewing it for Ben too. And I think one of them is just like, how dare you? I think I just like circled a part in there and was like, how dare you? That was my former Ennies judge feedback on his game writing. Yeah. How could you do this to me?
It's interesting. But my goodness, I'm discovering a few like short flaws that I have in role play. It's dialogue is hard for me to start, but once you get me going,
Yeah.
It's easier for me to talk in character, right?
Yeah.
Flirting takes a lot longer, apparently. I need a good 5 minutes of thinking time before I can deliver a good star-crossed flirt line.
Yeah. I mean, but like, I think you're like that in real life too.
Yeah.
That like, that's just not the way that you communicate generally.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's the, you know, the beauty of role playing is that this is a safe space now to do it and to like play those kinds of things with people that you care about and people you're close to, and, you know, to have those emotionally vulnerable moments in a way that feels comfortable for you.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, playing something like Broken, I don't know that there are a lot of people that I'd be comfortable playing that game with, because it's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot. But it's an experience that you and I got to have, and I'm really glad that I got to try out that game, and I'm really glad that I got to play it with you.
Yeah, same here. You know? Absolutely. And I would play a game like that again in a heartbeat with you. Eye of the High Ground is like another like amazing game that would be so much fun to play together. Starcrossed, of course. Our Final Gathering, I think you would really enjoy. I don't
get the source material for that one as much, but
which you don't need to worry about that part. It's designed to just be like, hey, what time period do you like? Let's play around in this non-historically accurate like representation of X year.
Yeah,
it's fine. But I look forward to the next 5 years making this podcast with you and being able to discover these cool games with you and like expand our horizons.
I think that's the cool thing about this too, is that like I look at it and I'm like, I genuinely don't know what the next 5 years hold.
Yeah.
But I can't, like, there's no part of my brain that's like, there is a time limit on this that like will ever run out.
Right.
Of things to do, or that even this like formula will ever get old.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I don't think it will. Like, I'm having such a great time.
Such a great time
doing this.
We're learning so much. Like, we're designing a game because of everything we've learned in this show, just through osmosis.
For sure.
It's phenomenal, like everything that we're doing here. And everything that we're learning. Look at Peggy just.
I know. I'm like, what is she looking for? She's like digging. So my dog is behind me, like digging in the blankets on the bed. I don't know what she thinks is in there, but
yeah. But that's why we're kind of doing this Patreon drive at the 5-year mark, right?
Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about.
That's what we were.
I didn't even talk about like what it actually means. I was just like, oh, we want to break even, blah blah blah.
So right now we're a little over halfway to our first goal that we set for ourselves, that $100 goal. If we get a few more patrons at the $5 level and higher, we're going to be able to hit that goal pretty easily.
And Ryan, tell the good people at home what they get if we hit that goal.
Oh, gosh, I am really excited for this.
I'm so excited.
We have custom character creation cast dice in the works through ChessX. They're going to be 16 millimeter dice in roughly the colors of the die faces on our C3 logo.
Yep. So there'll be that like purpley, the teal, and the kind of lime.
The green. Lime. Yep. And so the 6 face on all of these dice are going to have that cabin sketch C in them.
I'm really
which
excited.
Is just going to look really slick. Every patron, $5 and higher, is going to get a free set of these dice.
Yes.
So you'll get 3 dice. We've got 200 sets on the way.
Yeah, people back, please.
I know. So we've got plenty to go around. We're probably going to figure out a way for people to get more if they need to, or if they would like to. So if people are interested, or if people just want to throw $1 at us a month and get these chit-chats and other $1 bonuses, but they still want the dice, I think we'll have an avenue for getting that.
Yeah, we'll figure that out once we once the main drive is done, we'll try and see like what we have left and, you know, how much we make and all that kind of stuff.
But I mean, if we
it's
can,
something that I would, but for right now, it's a Patreon exclusive. So you gotta back.
Exactly. And I think
you want them, they're pretty good.
If we can stay above that $100 a month mark, I think all future patrons at the $5 and higher level will get some dice as well.
Yeah.
As part of the thank you gift set, which includes a personalized thank you card from us, technically from Amelia.
I sign your name on it.
I know. I sign it in spirit because we are an hour and a half apart, and it's just easier that way. But you make it look fantastic, so I greatly appreciate your efforts on that.
I love doing those. They're
very nice.
If we get to the $200 a month level, first of all, that allows us to start offering annual discounts. Patreon will not let us like create an annual tier until we have a steady stream of $200 a month. You have to kind of like prove for like 2 months or something like that. It's not for very long, but you do have to like steadily have $200 a month coming in to be able to offer like an annual discount, which is something we would really like to be able to do for people.
Yeah.
You can do like a 10%, you know, if you pay annually rather than monthly.
Right.
But if we reach that level, anybody who backs at $5 and up will also get a custom enamel pin that I have designed.
Oh, yeah. It's so nice.
It's so cute. It's so cute.
It is so cute.
It's again in our signature colors, but it says C3 2023 on it, so it's an exclusive special 2023 5-year anniversary thing.
Yep.
In our colors, complete with our nonsense. It's very on brand. Let's say
it is very on brand. It looks really great. I can't wait to if we get further along in the campaign and we're getting close, we'll be submitting that design to a few places to get some quotes and whatnot and kind of see what it's going to look like completed. I'm
I
really
want to
excited.
get there because I really want this pin to be a thing.
I know. But we're going to need everybody's help on that. If the listener numbers are correct, it will take about 2% of everybody listening at most to kind of get us to that $200 a month level.
Oh, that would be so awesome.
And that's not unheard of.
No, not at all.
Generally between 1% and 2% is the rate that most podcasters see moving over to the Patreon. But we've got at that $5 level, you get a completely full series of episodes that are continually releasing of us creating a game together, the Undying Bonds game, where we are fully blending magical girls and necromancers into the gameplay. And it's turning out so cool. I'm so excited to like sit down and do some more when my brain is a little bit like, I know like we're due for another recording. I was listening to the latest episode. I'm just so excited for this. And there's other patrons right now that are talking about it and they're so excited. It is such a metal game so far from what we're making. And I'm just really love that blend. It's
turning out so nice. Like it's, just like stylistically, thematically, like aesthetically, beautiful. It's
exactly. Beautiful. And once, the treatments settle in and everybody's feeling better, we should be able to play more games together. Yeah. And get those recorded, and those will go up on the $5 a month and up levels. Yep. Another level that I'm really enjoying is the $10 level, the campaign level.
Yes, I love our monthly patron Zoom calls. I'd love to have more people in there. Not that I don't love the people that we have right now. They're great.
Exactly.
But they are just such fantastic discussions. They have turned into this really great like accountability group for a few of us that had things that we wanted to work on. I know for some of us it was like eating better, working out more.
Yep.
For some people it was like business stuff that they had, some like business goals. Listen, talking about you, John. That, they really wanted to like accomplish and that we've really been, kind of pushing for.
Yeah.
And it's turned into this really great accountability group too of people to like lean on each other and say like, hey,
Yes.
I'm looking out for you. I'm checking in on you. I'm, but also just fun, silly, stupid discussions. It's great. It's great.
It's been a while since I've laughed as hard as I have in some of those
calls.
chats.
Yeah.
It's so amazing.
They're great.
Occasionally I'll drop a swear. Just for the patrons.
Okay, I want to point out, everyone, occasionally means one time Ryan did swear right before he hung up the call.
Not out of anger, it's because I was egged on.
Yeah, right.
So I had to do something. But I can't promise.
No one here thinks you swore because you were angry. No one listening to this thinks that's what happened, Ryan.
You're probably right. So there's a lot of good benefit to that $10 tier as well. And we also have our own chat room in the Discord. There's a special channel just for that level and higher that you can talk about whatever in there. And we've been using that to keep tabs on our accountability with 3 C's because I can't help myself with a good pun.
You can't.
No, I can't.
The good part is in question, but the fact that you can't help yourself, no one is questioning.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're doing a lot of fun things there. There's some higher tiers as well that nobody's taken advantage of yet, but check it out. Patreon.com/character creation cast. And really consider helping us out. I know patrons, you're going to be getting this Thursday before we're going to release this to the public on Monday. So just thanks for being here. Yes. For those that are already backing us. Thank
you for what we've I mean, the way that we've been able to grow the community in the last year since starting this Patreon, the sort of involvement that it has led to from people. I just, the things that obviously it's helped us be able to afford, to make life a little bit easier for us too. I'm really grateful for what this podcast has done for my life in the last 5 years.
100%.
The people that have listened, the people that have been guests, the things that we have made that I've been able to do, all of it is just, we started making this podcast at a really, really tough time in my life. We started talking about this, I think, so we started making it, beginning of 2018, right? We started working on it.
In January 2018, yeah. Okay,
so at that point I had filed for divorce, was going through a divorce, but my ex was still living with me.
Yeah.
People that listen to our Chit-Chats regularly know that it was amicable, quote, we're fine. We're both much happier apart. I always say it. I like you when you're over there. That's what I tell him all the time. I'm like, I like you over there, just not in my space.
Yeah.
But it was, it was tough. I've gone through a couple mental health crises. I've been diagnosed with several more things since we started. It's been a very difficult time in my life, and having this podcast, the community that we built up around it, the friends that I've made from doing it, the creators that have supported our work, all of that has really been life-changing for me. And I think in a lot of cases, life-saving for me.
Yeah. I am every day I am extraordinarily thankful that not only that we have this amazing project together, but that it did help you so much.
Yeah.
I didn't know you before we started. I knew of you. I've seen you in
we were kind of
chat.
Around the same people. Yeah. We knew some of the same people, but we weren't,
that from that first meeting on, I knew we had really, we worked well together.
Right.
Which I thought was fantastic. And
I will never not laugh at the fact that it went so well.
I know.
This was not the way to do it.
No.
I would never, if somebody came up to me and was like, hey, I met this person on the internet and was like, let's start a podcast together. I would be like, are you nuts?
I know.
And the truth, dear audience, is that, in fact, yes, I was, but I'm seeking medical treatment, so it'll be okay.
It's fine. And even after the medical treatment,
I'm still here.
She's still here, still putting up with me and and my puns.
Despite all my doctor's best efforts, I'm still here.
You know what? I am just incredibly thankful.
I'm so grateful for this, and I'm so grateful for our friendship that has blossomed from this. We got asked on that Characters Without Stories recently, like, oh, how did you two meet and start making a podcast? And I was like, oh, we started making a podcast and then met.
And then we met. Exactly. Yeah, we did it the other way around.
Yeah, and I love that for us.
I know.
I don't think I would want our story to be anything else.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean,
I'm good with that.
How apropos for the industry, though, right? Like the RPG industry. What better way to make friends?
To meet in a tavern.
Or to meet at a convention in a random table and have a story together.
Yeah.
And then you become friends by the end of the 4 hours.
Right. Well, that's, the real prize was the friends we made along the way, right?
It literally was in this case, right?
It was. Yeah. We became friends along the way.
Exactly.
And I love that for us. That for us. No, it's just been, the last 5 years have just been a joy. And I feel like to a degree, we kind of do this every year. We're like, wow, we can't believe it's been, but it has. And the world has gone through so much in the last few years. We have gone through so much.
Yeah.
It's like, you had another kid. I got a divorce. I have moved twice. You've moved once.
Yeah.
It just, life has been nonstop.
It's been nonstop. The majority of the podcast has been produced during COVID.
No, I don't like that.
I know. But so, we persevered.
Right.
And we haven't missed practically any beats.
No.
Through that whole time. And the times that we took off were because we need to rest.
Because of life. Yeah.
Life happens.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, and we we have had such great listeners that I don't think that there has ever been a time where somebody was like, wow, I can't believe you didn't put out content, which I guess I don't know how often that happens generally. I'm sure it does, that people are like, but we've got just such great listeners too. It's fantastic. It's just, we're so lucky.
We're
very
lucky.
So lucky.
Exactly.
So yeah, I guess all of that to say, it has been 5 years. I'm excited about the things that we have coming up. I'm really excited about this Patreon drive. I really hope that we get some people, not just because I want more money, because money's great. Let's be honest.
Right.
But because I really do want people to get the stuff that we've planned out, because we've made some really cool things. And I want to be able to keep bringing people the content that honestly brings me so much joy to make. It makes me so happy. I've made so many friends. It's meant so much to my life, and I want to be able to keep doing it.
Exactly.
And I can't believe it's been 5 years already.
I know.
I can't believe it.
Well, I know we have a plethora of stuff that we can do. And the Patreon is going to help us do that. And so that's why we have these incentives. That's why we're doing a drive. That's why we need help from people that aren't already supporting us. Yeah.
And I should say too, if anybody ever has an idea of something that you think would make a really good Patreon tier or something, something that we're not offering that you were you know what, I would totally sign up for that. Let us know. We can see if it's feasible, if it's something 100%. That we can do. 100%. We love feedback too. We really, really do.
Yeah, absolutely. We are pretty malleable in a lot of things. We are pretty understanding in a lot of things. And we want this to be a really great, safe, and joy-filled community. You know? Any bit of help that you can get, if you can't support us financially, spread the word that we're doing this. Would be an immense help. If you love
sign up for our newsletter,
sign up for our newsletter, newsletter.charactercreationcast.com will get you there. Leave a review if you have the spoons to do so. But honestly, just shouting out on Twitter, on TikTok, wherever, saying, hey, check this show out. And by the way, they're doing this cool Patreon drive. Check it out. Right. Yeah. That would go a long way. If everybody listening right now would spread the word about it and then ask people to spread the word as well, we could reach a lot of people. And I think a lot of people could learn a lot from the show that aren't listening currently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I definitely, I still hold tight to the fact that I think we are making something that isn't already being made.
Exactly.
I mean, I know it wasn't when we first started.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know that it is now still. I think what we are making is truly unique.
Yeah.
It's a unique perspective on games, on game design, on gameplay. And I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of what we're making.
Exactly. So that's a long time to say thank you for being here.
Yes.
We hope you continue joining us. We hope you enjoyed this chit-chat in lieu of a normal series beginning here in April. This is not an April Fool's sort of ordeal. It's just life happened at this time. We happened to start the podcast a day after April Fool's. And True. it's just the way time happens, right? Mm-hmm.
We will be back next week with real stuff, we promise. You will still get your full series this month.
Yeah.
I just have kind of a crummy brain, honestly.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Just doing brain things.
I have faith in us.
Yes. We promise it'll be worth it.
All right. As is tradition, welcome patrons and non-patrons alike. It is the end of the episode.
Yes, for those of you who are not patrons already don't know that we always forget to do the welcome until the end of the episode. So welcome to Character Creation Chit-Chat. I'm one of your hosts, Amelia. This is my co-host, Ryan.
And we're here to say thanks for joining us. And we hope you have an excellent rest of your week. Check out the links in the show notes. Check out what we have going on in the Patreon. Check out our website. Spread the word. Keep making those amazing people.
Yes.
And we'll see you next time. Ruff. Peggy. I know. Okay, stop button. I know. Good job, Peggy. Stop it.